Trying to set it up. Big fella, Eric Fisher, the left tackle, eligible and then some. And some hot potato in the end zone. Touchdown, Chiefs. Into the pass.
Hey guys, it's Ryan. It's Sports Life. It's that time of the week. And what you just watched was Patrick Mahomes throwing to his left tackle, Eric Fisher. And, me personally, I love a big man score because, you're going to get some sort of big man dance, right? Well, you got to see some hot potato in the end zone. And, I like some hot potato playing with your lineman. That was great. I love it. I love big man scores, and that was just an awesome play call by Andy Reid. So we're gonna stick on the NFL for quite a bit. We got a big segment for it today. Today is probably gonna be my biggest podcast, so stay tuned, guys. That Chiefs game, Chiefs versus Ravens. I don't know if it's Patrick Mahomes is just amazing. If the Ravens just don't have a game plan for him, I'm not quite sure what is going on. But the Ravens cannot beat the Chiefs. They are their kryptonite for sure. Mahomes almost had 400 yards passing. He had 4 TDs, 1 rushing. He's 17 to 21 against the blitz for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Lamar Jackson, he had a solid day, but he only threw for 97 yards. He ran for 83. Like that's not a Patrick Mahomes typical stat. So I don't know what it is, but the Chiefs are obviously just a better team. And goodness gracious, I feel sorry for everybody that faces them. So, you tally up that kind of offense, and you score 34 points. You look really good doing it. I don't see how they're not the favorite right now to win the Super Bowl again. I just don't. They are that good. And yes, I think the Ravens still could possibly come out of the AFC, but I just don't. I mean, the Chiefs are just better in every aspect of the game. So, yes, we're gonna keep on the NFL. It's gonna be a pretty good talk because there's a lot that happened last week. There's a lot that's happening this week. One of those being Green Bay last week. They kind of, I wouldn't say they steamrolled the Saints, but the Saints looked a little off. They ended up winning the game. The Packers did. But really, they controlled it the entire way. It wasn't like, the Saints were just threatening them at all. So, I really believe that Green Bay is a great team offensively. But I think the Saints are, without Michael Thomas, Drew Brees doesn't really have a go-to target, and their defense really isn't as good as it should be. So the Saints could be in a little bit of trouble, especially in that division. Everybody's kind of not doing so great right now. You got the Bucks, who are actually probably looking like the better team, but the Panthers could turn them out and make good a little bit better. But I don't know, man. Really and truly, the Falcons to me are the best team in that division. They're 0-3, so they've lost 2 games by double digits, or where they had double digit leads, and they should have won both those games. So I don't know what exactly is going on, but maybe the NFC South will get it going and get it figured out. So we're gonna talk about those teams that there's a bunch of teams in the league who have these great offenses, but no defense at all, and so they're gonna have to outscore teams. Those teams being Dallas, Seattle, Green Bay, and Buffalo's who I'm going to write down, but there's also other teams out there, such as, Miami's not a bad offensive team. Minnesota's not bad. They're off and on offensively, but they can put up points. And there's teams like that just have no defense and they don't know what to do with the ball, or they're like on the defensive side. And so those teams are going to have to score a lot, which is working for Seattle. It's working for Green Bay. It's working for Buffalo. But then you have Dallas, and it's not working for them. Now, they did play Seattle last week, who it was a good game. They lost 38-31. Of course, Russell Wilson's him and Mahomes are just on a whole new level of play, and I don't know who's better between them. But we'll stick on that Dallas Seattle game for a sec. Seattle looks obviously very, very, very good. Dallas, not so much. Their offense looks great. Their defense is horrible. They have no secondary. They're like basically all you gotta do is get to the second line and they're gone. Every single play, big play after big play. So those teams that have no defense, I hate to say it, but when you come playoff time, you're not gonna be able to play that way. You will lose almost every single game in the playoffs if you have no defense. Offense wins games, defense wins championships, and so some of those teams got to get it figured out. Now, we're going to go back to that Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes. Who is actually better this year? Who is actually the best quarterback? Who would you actually want on your team? And I really, really actually think I would rather have Mahomes any day. But Russell Wilson has maybe, I guess, a more veterancy to him. He can sense the presence a little bit better, it feels like. But man, oh man, both those guys are playing out of their leagues. And I I would love to see that as a Super Bowl matchup. I think that would be the funnest Super Bowl matchup we could have. I don't think it'll happen. I think the NFC, just a little bit tougher. Teams will start getting it going a little bit. But it still could. It's a very good possibility it could. And, who's to say teams like the Bills or someone like that could knock out the Chiefs? The Ravens, even. They could find a way. They could figure it out. The Steelers. There's teams out there in the AFC. They're still really good. So it'd be a tough time for them to get to. But I do think that would be the most fun Super Bowl to watch. So, all right. So now we're going to talk about Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And we're going to show you what this guy just did.
Allen under pressure, and Josh gets away. Open in the middle of the field and inside the 20. Josh Allen on 4th and goal for the end zone. Wide open. Touchdown, Buffalo. Down, turned it over, and the Bills take over now as Josh Allen rolls out, throws deep, and wide open is Gabriel Davis to the sideline. Josh Allen on an option is going to keep and spins down to the 5-yard line. He would know playing the line as Josh Allen carries and touchdown Buffalo. Catches for Gabriel Davis. Josh Allen winds up sideline open. Catch made. Out of bounds inside the 5 at the moment. Josh Allen, it's easy. It's going to be a touchdown Buffalo. Tyler Kroft. On 3rd and 5, Allen is going to try and throw. Catch down around the 2-yard line. Josh Allen going that way, and he has Diggs. Some fumbling issues in the past with carrying the ball. Floating one, and Diggs. What a perfect toss. Allen spins out of the rush and is looking for somebody, and throws, and the catch is made. Stephon Diggs. 2 earlier in this drive. Middle of the field is open. And a catch made inside the 15. There's Diggs as you for the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo, Tyler Kroft. The Bills have the lead with 50.
All right, so yes, as you can clearly see, that Josh Allen is really good with that offense. There's a lot of things going on in Buffalo that's going the right way. Yet again, they're allowing a lot of points. So until they get that defense kind of settled back down and get them going, then they might be in trouble too because they are giving up a lot of points. I mean, yes, the Rams are a good team. Rams are playing like they were, a couple years ago when they went to the Super Bowl. But the Bills have got to figure out their defense. Josh Allen can't just throw for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns every game. It's not really possible to do that every single game, especially for a team who's trying to knock out the Patriots in however long, 15 years, I think, 16 years since last time the Patriots lost that division. So they're going to have to kind of figure some things out, but I like where Buffalo's heading. I really, really do. Yeah, I do. I kind of see Josh Allen being kind of like Brett Favre in a way. He's got such an arm. I'm not gonna call him the gunslinger, but man, he can zip that ball around. So definitely gonna be kind of a fun career for Josh Allen. Especially, say this year they go out and they can win that division, knock out the Patriots. Man, what a crazy start it'd be to his career. All right, so now we're gonna preview this week a little bit. There is a lot going on. Obviously, it wasn't a great Thursday night game last night, but the Broncos did beat the Jets 38-27. They finally got on the board with a W. They've had some quarterback issues. They've had some defensive issues that are all injury related. So, there's a lot going on out in Denver that are positive. Melvin Gordon, Jerry Jeudy look really good. The Jets look horrible. They might be the worst team in the league. But it was still a good game, I guess. The Jets did try to fight back. They didn't just fall over and die. So that was a good thing. You do have a postponement due to the virus. The Titans got postponed against the Steelers till week 7, I believe is what they said. And the Steelers had to push back their Ravens game. But unfortunately, this virus is a thing. It's going to affect the sports world still. They were lucky that they were able to get it together and kind of get everybody's schedule rotated really as quickly as they did. So we're going to, on that Bills team. You got the Bills and the Raiders this week, which could possibly be very high scoring. I'm not big on the Raiders. They're not a bad team. I don't think they're a playoff worthy team. Obviously, the Bills are, and I think the Bills will just go out there and handle business really well. So it'll be fun because I love that stadium. I love Vegas' stadium, but I think Buffalo wins probably 2 touchdowns, and then a game that I'm kind of intrigued by. You got Bucks and Chargers this week. And the reason I say I'm intrigued by it is Tom Brady's going to have to actually come out and step up. You can't throw 3 picks and hope to win this game. Justin Herbert's playing good on the other side for the Chargers. The defense for the Chargers is really good. That same defense only held Mahomes to 23 points, and it took him to overtime to win that game. So I think that I actually think the Chargers win that game. I'm sorry, I'm not big on Brady. I'm not big on the Bucks. Godwin's out again, and Brady is just like Winston. All he does is throw interceptions, and yes, he can throw touchdowns too. But good grief, I'm not big on that team. I really have not ever been big on that team. Yeah, I'm not big on Tom Brady. So, another game you got this week: the Vikings and the Texans. Both teams trying to get on the board with a W. I think I think Houston's in a lot of trouble. I think Minnesota kind of realized this year wasn't going to be their year anyways, so they're not too worried about it. But I think Houston, a team that's trying to make the playoffs, trying to find a way to get to a Super Bowl. I've said it 2 weeks in a row. I've said Deshaun Watson does not have a go-to receiver, and it hurts him. But I think that Houston will get it done this week. I think they find a way to win the game. And they look pretty good against the Steelers. The Steelers have a good defense, and they looked pretty good against them last week. But it's just you got to do it every week. You got to be able to win games. That's what it comes down to, is winning the game. So, we got another matchup, which I think, for fantasy purposes, if you guys are into that, Russell Wilson playing against Miami. So the Seahawks against the Dolphins. That should be a bloodbath. Russell Wilson should throw the ball over them. He should probably easily have 4 touchdowns in that game. So that's not even really a good game, but it could be interesting to see if the Fins can keep it close. Here's one that does kind of intrigue me a little bit. You've got the Browns and the Cowboys, which we already know Dallas is going to score a lot, because neither one of those teams have good defenses. But can Baker Mayfield find a way to actually produce a high-scoring game? Can he hold in an offensive shootout like he used to in college? Can he withstand that? I think the answer is yes. I think he's kind of slowed down a little bit the last couple of weeks. He's figured it out a little bit. I think this is a good test for him to actually get out there and see if he's the real deal, or if he's just another Browns quarterback who's being completely thrown under the bus, or what the deal is. I actually think the Browns win this game. I know that you guys probably think that I'm just a homer. I'm an Oklahoma fan, but I've watched them the last couple of weeks. They look a little bit better each time, and I think they can outlast the Cowboys. So, I'm taking the Browns over Dallas for sure. Another good game. You got Arizona versus Carolina. That's Carolina got their first W. Arizona lost to Detroit last week. Kyler Murray is a very, very talented quarterback, but he turns the ball over a lot more than he used to in college. So he's kind of got to slow his roll down a little bit too and quit trying to force things. And on the other side of the ball, you got Teddy Bridgewater, who's very solid. He's just a solid quarterback. He does all the right things. He does everything, He checks down. He doesn't turn the ball over. He throws it deep when he has to. Obviously, they're missing McCaffrey. Their defense is a little banged up, but I actually think Carolina gets a W in that game. I think it'll probably be a good game, though. Okay. Chicago trying to stay undefeated, going up against Indy. They're going up against the Colts, I'm sorry. And Foles is starting, which was the best move they could have ever made up there in Chicago. Trubisky is bad. He's very bad. Foles is the best backup quarterback of all time. And he deserves to start. So he did lead him back to comeback W last week. I'm sticking with Chicago. It's going to be a good game. I think Philip Rivers will at least have the Colts in the game, but it's going to be a good game. I think Chicago wins that one. So probably the game of the week is going to be the Patriots versus the Chiefs. And Cam Newton obviously is playing really good ball. You've got, you got Patrick Mahomes. Do I even need to say anything else to that? So you got the 2-1 Patriots versus the 3-0 Chiefs. I think the Chiefs get it done. I think it's going to be close. There's a lot more defense played in New England than there is out in Baltimore against the Chiefs. But I hate to go up against Mahomes. By the way, congrats to Patrick Mahomes. Him and his fiance announced that they're expecting a child. Congrats to him. Just a little bit more fuel for his fire there. That he's gonna go out and perform even better every single week. So All right. Now, the Monday night game is actually an intriguing one, too. You've got Atlanta and you've got Green Bay, okay? Atlanta, 2 weeks in a row, has had double-digit leads. 2 weeks in a row, they should have won. 2 weeks in a row, they fell apart. And I'm telling you right now, I'm taking the Falcons in this game. In a very, very high-scoring game. Green Bay has no defense. Atlanta has no defense. So I'm taking the Falcons. I think Matt Ryan finally gets it done. Obviously, he's got some of the most talented receiving crew in the league. Calvin Ridley still, should be the go-to person. Julio's obviously there, but he's not, he's getting double teamed every time. So Calvin Ridley should be your go-to person. Gurley's catching out of the backfield a little bit. So, and you got Hill catching out of the backfield a little bit. Yeah, the Falcons are winning this game. Devontae Adams is banged up for the Packers. Their defense is horrible. Aaron Rodgers can't do it every single game. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons finally getting a W, getting on the board. All right, so I'm going to do something a little different here. Each week, I'm going to do a fantasy breakout performance, okay? So what that means is I'm going to pick a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, and a kicker for each week that I think could have the biggest fantasy breakout. And I know everybody's got different scoring for fantasy leagues, but on that quarterback, I am going to pick Baker Mayfield. Like I said earlier, I think he's going to find a way to have a good game. Dallas's defense is really bad, so you had Big Ben or Tannehill, and you're like, well, man, I don't know who to play now. I would definitely give Baker Mayfield a shot. My running back, I'm going to take David Johnson for Houston. I believe that, the Texans really got to get a W this week. The Vikings don't have a good defense. So I think David Johnson is due for a huge game. And I would definitely have him in my starting lineup. I'm going to take John Brown from the Bills. Obviously, you got a lot of attention with Stephon Diggs and everything like that, but I would take John Brown this week. I know he's been banged up a little bit. I believe that Buffalo's going to score quite a bit, like they do. So, John Brown's my breakout receiver. And then my breakout kicker is a guy named Joey Sly, Carolina Panthers kicker. They're going to go up against the Cardinals, who actually don't really give up a whole lot of touchdowns, per se. They do give up a lot of field goals. So, my kicker is Joey Sly. And that's going to end my NFL talk, guys. Now it is time for my college ball. We're going to start right here. I know I'm a homer for the Big 12. We're going to start with the Big 12. I don't even know how to describe what's going on there. Big 12 does not need to be anywhere near the college football playoff. Okay, with that being said, my team, Oklahoma, looked really good through 2 quarters last week. And I don't know what happened. They fell apart. They either got too comfy with a lead. They forgot that, people make adjustments at halftime. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what happened. I can tell you this. Kansas State is a terrible team. And the University of Oklahoma got beat by the Kansas State Wildcats. So, was I happy about that? Absolutely not. It proved kind of what I've been afraid of, that they are exactly who they are every single year. And they got comfy with a lead. And obviously Rattler can't handle pressure yet. He's a freshman. He's a redshirt freshman in his second start, and you're expecting miracles out of him, and he's going to have a great career at the University of Oklahoma, but they should have won that game by 30 points, and they choked big time. So, nope, not happy with my Sooners, but they're not the only Big 12 team that looked really, 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 really bad. The other one being Texas, my most hated team. Texas was all, or probably should have been beat by Texas Tech in overtime. Okay, they were down 2 touchdowns with like 8 minutes left. They did make a comeback. Ellinger found a way to give them a good W, but Tech almost got beat by Houston Baptist. So those are your top 2 teams in the Big 12, and they are both that bad? No, the Big 12 does not need to be anywhere near the college football playoff. And if anybody even decides to try to argue that, you're wrong. Okay, the Big 12 is horrible. Now, Oklahoma State does look like they have a good defense, but they don't have an offense for once. Like Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy's known for having an offense, but they don't have one. They have a good defense. So if they can run the tables, I might reconsider my thoughts on the Big 12. But more or less, no, sorry. Now, here's the thing. We're going to switch over to the SEC, okay? The Big 12 offenses have made it to the SEC. Mike Leach, the air raid, is in the SEC. And guess what? LSU had a wake-up call like none other last week.
Saturday in Death Valley. Doesn't matter if it's night game or day games. They've been winning a lot of them. Avery Atkins has got it teed up. Javante Payton and Lee Witherspoon are deep. Here we go. Payton lets it go, and Mississippi State will bring it out to the 25-yard line. 3rd down and 5. Blitz coming from LSU. Costello, and he gets hammered at the 20-yard line. It's Jacoby Stevens with a sack. Jaquavius Marks in the backfield with Costello. And they'll give it to him, and he's got the 1st down and a lot more. And Marks out to the 29-yard line. Nice run on the 1st down. They think he had an allergic reaction or something. Costello trying to slip screen. Got a good block out there in the flat. And Osiris Mitchell with a big gain into LSU territory. And now he's got a 3rd and long. Hasn't had one of these today. 3 wide receivers to his right. He's looking that way. Throws as he falls down. What a catch. And it's complete. And it's Mitchell again. And it's a 1st down all the way down to the 19-yard line. It'll be a 35-yard field goal attempt. Ruiz with the kick. Up and perfect.
Here's Cox, who plays all over the field.
Get his man in motion, finally does. That's Payton. Costello steps up, going deep middle, and caught. It was tipped even a little bit, but still brought down by Cameron Gardner.
Cole Smith and KJ Costello not on the same page there. He's moving up, the snap, and it's a turnover.
That's not going to work. LSU on offense when we come back. 3rd down and 10. From the goal line, Costello fires, and it is intercepted. Picked off. Jabril Cox, touchdown. 1,350 yards on the ground last year. Now the throw down the sidelines of Billy. And it's Tyrell Chambers, touchdown.
Kobe Jones, number 52, on that play, really put the pressure on.
Rennick throws. This one's complete, and there it is to Gilbert. 17-yard pickup to the 43. Now play action. Rennick going deep, got a man down the middle,
inside the 10-yard line to Ray Jenkins.
There's something going on here. Can they capitalize from just inside the 3? Play fake. Brandon. Here comes 3 guys. He has to just get rid of it. And it is. Was it caught? Yes, indeed. Eric Gilbert, the freshman, for the touchdown. Costello throws, lost one complete on the rise. Mitchell down the sideline. Touchdown, Bulldogs. 5.5 to go in the third. Second down and 10. See if the Bulldogs bring any pressure on Brennan this time.
Defense always gives you this 3 look, and then they shift out of it one way or another. Sometimes he drops down as a safety. Sometimes they roll up the other way.
Here comes the pressure. Brennan throws complete. Got it. Racing McMath, and he is racing down into Bulldog territory at the 37-yard line. His career game was against Mississippi State last year. Brennan wants to go deep, and does. Man's there, and he's got it. And it's Terrace Marshall for the touchdown. On first down. He's going to throw it to him. He's wide open on the sideline if he can find his footing. A big play, he's still on his feet. Calvin Harris on the sideline. It's gone. Touchdown. 75 yards for the score. And from the 9, first to go. Costello looked left, lobs it to the corner, a touchdown, 500 yards passing, and Austin Williams for the score.
I mean, this is a tough reload.
Costello gonna go deep, near sideline. This one's intercepted, picked off. That's what they needed. Eli Ricks, the freshman. Brennan loads, goes to the end zone. One-handed catch by Marshall for the touchdown. All the way back to the 26-yard line now. Brennan now will go to the end zone. Jump ball out of bounds, incomplete. Actually, McMath probably was out of bounds.
No, I'd take the 3. I'd take the chance at the 3 and not try to throw it.
They might run out of time on this play if he waits too long to unload. Clock is going to expire on the jump ball, and it's intercepted in the end zone anyway, and Mississippi.
All right, so that was the highlights of the Mississippi State win over LSU. They won 44-34. They obviously have the air raid offense under Mike Leach. They look really good. They made an LSU team who's supposed to have a good defense look really, really bad. Okay, Mike Leach is going to do that a lot in the SEC. The SEC is not ready for the air raid, and here it is. So I'm not saying they're going to go out and win a championship or anything. Mike Leach isn't that guy. He's the guy that plays the spoiler. He's the guy who will upset those guys. He's the guy who will ruin those guys' season, okay? And you know what? I love it. And Mike Leach, even after the game, he's like, oh, well, how'd you guys feel about playing LSU? And he's like, well, Green Bay, Kansas City, and New England were already scheduled. You know, Mike Leach is that guy. He's funny. He likes to have a good team. That air raid will destroy the SEC and maybe make the Big 12 not look so bad. But the Big 12 is still really, really bad. Now, on the SEC note, I'm actually going to take a surprise pick to win the SEC. I'm going to take Florida. I think it's the Gators' time. They are finally looking like a complete team. Yeah, yes, they do have some defensive issues, but everybody's going to have issues this year. I mean, no one's had an offseason. No one's had time to practice. So I'm going to take the Florida Gators to win the SEC. I think that Trask is a great quarterback. I think Florida is going to figure it out defensively. So, yes, I'm going to take the Gators. And, yeah, that's crazy to say they're going to beat out Bama, and they're going to beat out Georgia, and they're going to beat out Auburn. And look, guys, the Florida Gators have been there with these guys for the last few years. They just haven't been able to win it. So, it is their turn. With everything going on, something's going to go. And there's going to be a lot more upsets. There's going to be a lot more, just craziness that's going to happen this year. It's just a simple mind. It's how it is. But, so here we go. We are actually going to get to my upset pick of the week. Hang on 1 second and I will get you that.
This message is transmitted at the request of the United States Office of Civil Defense. 3:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That it will impact this area within the next 1.5 to 2 hours.
All right, so my upset pick is going to be the SMU Mustangs over the Memphis Tigers. I'm saying pony up this week. I think that Shane Buechele actually finds a way to get that offense rolling like he did last week against Stephen F. Austin. Memphis is a 2.5-point favorite. And guess what? The over-under is 74.5 points. I'm going to take the over. I'm taking SMU. And pony up, guys. Now, we do have a top 10 matchup this week. We actually have Auburn and Georgia going at it. Those are two teams that are actually trying to win the SEC and very well could. I believe that Georgia will find a way to win. Auburn's still a very, very young team. Bo Nix isn't, he hasn't had made a killing yet over there at Auburn. So, we'll see. I hope it's a great game. I think that's where game day is this week. So, a lot of fun. Or I guess the game day cameras is not really game day. But that's my football talk for the day. Now, we are going to switch it over a little bit. We're going to get to the NBA, where we had game one the other day in the finals. Obviously, the Lakers took it pretty well. They kind of overwhelmed the Heat. Adebayo was hurt. Dragic was hurt. The Heat were a little banged up. And I'm not saying any excuses, but they haven't had a bad game this playoff yet, Everybody's got one or two. So the fact that they had one bad game, I'm not writing the Heat off just yet. I think that Butler will find a way to get them back going. Obviously, Dragic is not going to play this tonight, but Dunn isn't too bad of a backup point guard. He can get it going too. And as long as Adebayo can control Anthony Davis, which that was the thing, he can control Anthony Davis. I think that they will be all right. I really do. I think that it's going to be a lot better game tonight. And don't forget, the Heat had a 13-point lead in the first quarter. They got off and they started shooting the ball really well. So no, I'm not writing the Heat off. It was game one. Let's see what happens, and we'll see if they can actually bounce back and they can control the size of the Lakers. If you control the size, you get out and you run them, you run faster than them, you run harder than them, you can beat the Lakers. Size isn't everything in basketball. You just got to find ways to win. So, game 2 tonight, they just need to stay focused, play literally the way that got them to the finals. Bring back that Heat team and they'll be all right. So, that's all I really have for basketball. There's not a whole lot. Obviously, I can't talk much because there's literally one game left. There's one series left. So, not a whole lot I got. You slow down Anthony Davis, you slow down LeBron, you win the game. That's simple as that. Just got to slow them down. You don't even have to stop them that much. You just slow them down. So, baseball. Baseball fired up the playoffs, and I'm really loving this new system. I like the extra round. I think it adds a lot more to it. It's going to bring... Basically, it's going to make it harder for them to be a World Series winner. I like that. I think it's a good thing. Instead of 3 rounds, you have 4 rounds. And so, one of the disappointments of the playoffs so far was the Minnesota Twins. Yet again, they have lost now 18 straight playoff games. I just don't know what to say. they are really, really good at getting to the playoffs, but really, really bad once they get there. So the Twins have got to figure something out. They've got to be, killing themselves. Like 18 straight playoff losses. How's that even possible? But they find ways. So another team who's actually is proving themselves, the Astros. Obviously, we had the cheating going on where they were stealing the signs last year, and man, they literally are trying to prove they belong. So the Astros beat the Twins obviously in 2 games. They did it pretty effectively. So they moved on. They get to go play the Athletics, which the Athletics are looking pretty good right now. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the A's make a good run in that series, too. So, Rays, Yankees, next round. Both teams took care of business. Both teams, made it there. That'll be a good divisional round series. The Yankees have a lot of offense, not a lot of pitching. And the Rays have both. The Rays are the 1 seed for a reason. So I'm going to take the Rays. Sorry, Yankee fans, but I don't see it being this year. They just don't have the pitching to go around with. So go Rays. The Cubbies are actually in a lot of trouble right now. They were tied with the Marlins last time I saw. It was 0-0 in the top of the 7th, I believe. And if they lose today, the Cubbies are out. The Marlins will advance, which is good for baseball. The Marlins haven't been to the playoffs since 2003, and here they are. This extra round they got there, and here they are about to knock off the Cubs, who were the 3 seed. So, go Marlins! That's awesome. I love good upset, and yeah, that's great. So, my Cardinals, man. Oh man, they killed me. They are 18-1. Going into the Padres game 2 yesterday. They won game 1 pretty soundly, 7-4. Yesterday they were up 4-0 in the second, and then they just fell apart. They ended up losing the game. There's game 3 tonight. Obviously, I'll be watching it at 6 o'clock because, they are my team still, and they're in the playoffs because of this extra round. So if they can advance, God, that'd be awesome. So I really hope they can find a way to get it done. Hockey, you had the Lightning finish off the Stars. That series went 6. The Lightning, they were better. They were a lot better than the Stars. They were faster. They just moved better on the ice. It's just one of those things. Dallas ran into a brick wall, and Lightning wasn't backing down. So yeah, that happened in hockey. We got the French Open going on. Obviously, Djokovic looks like he is the top men's guy. He had a crazy first round, and let me pull up one of the plays from it. So that was the first round against Michael Yamir, and that shot was incredible by Michael Yamir. Obviously, Djokovic was able to finish him off. I can't believe that happened. That was an amazing play. It through his legs, got to the corner. I mean, that was a perfect shot. Too bad he got beat. Now, on the women's side, Simona Halep, she's looking very dominant. Every single match, she's just going out there, taking care of business. She looks like the person to beat. I mean, she's the 1 seed for the reason. She's not slowing down, that's for sure. So I think the 2-1 seeds actually might finally get it done on both sides. It'd be fun to finish it out this tournament, see if it actually can happen. So yeah, that's what's happening in the sports world today, guys. Be sure to check out Rita at Beautiful Eats. That's Beautiful Space Eats with a Z at the end of Eats. She's an awesome cook. She likes to make food, and it is quite yummy. So be sure to check her out. And that's all I got for today. This is Sports Life. Appreciate you listening. Have a great day.